And what I'd like to do now is to focus on what kinds of pressures that sometimes we feel to drink, or to smoke, or to try different things, right? Now, you guys have come up with some great reasons why teens choose to do it, why they choose not to, and what are some things even that you guys have come up with that teens can say in situations when they don't want to? You've come up with all of those ideas. So now let's talk about that a little bit more. Sometimes it's hard to say no. Sometimes it's hard to go against our friends. They can really influence us, and we think that everybody's doing it. Remember, we went back to that whole thing where it's easier sometimes just to go along with the crowd. And that can do a couple of things. It can get us into trouble, and it could lead us down into that path that we talked about, right? So today, let's talk about what we can do when we feel pressure to drink, or to maybe use cigarettes or drugs. So what does direct pressure mean to you guys?
When they're telling you to do it.
Yeah. Good. So somebody's actually wanting you to do something. They're in your face, basically, right? Okay, what are some situations that you guys can think of that you might find yourselves in where there's going to be direct pressure?
At a party?
Uh-huh, at a party. Yep. Anything else? What else?
Hanging out with my friends and the parents aren't home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alcohol.
Right, that's another definite place. Tell me a little bit about how direct pressure would work in that situation, Duncan.
Well, it could be either me or the friend, but one of us would say, hey, there's the alcohol here, parents aren't home, let's just try some.
Okay. So it could be, could be your friend.
Or it could be me at the friend's house. I'm a guest, and I'm
Right.
at my friend's house, and I know the parents aren't gone. I know that, and I've done
see.
some experimenting before. And
Okay. Mm-hmm. I see. That can certainly come up where you tell a friend to try something with you, right? And you are then putting direct pressure onto your friend, right? But what about the other way around? Now, just you came up with Jewelry with an idea of like at a party, you said, where people will ask you to do something. And what other places, what other situations can you find yourself in? Like that, where somebody is pressuring you.
At a family, they're kind of teasing you, like, you're now a teenager, so
Right.
it's time. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
everybody else now that, you're old enough, basically.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up because that can happen to a lot of teens your age, right? Where you're with family even, and it seems like it's going to be okay because they're your family. And you might want to do something different. You might choose not to. So then what kinds of things could you say in those situations? What are some strategies? Remember we came up with some of those last time when we had some role playing. What are some things that you could say to not drink in a family situation or at a party? What do you guys think?
No.
You could say no. What else, though, besides no? What more can you say?
No,
Because that's a
thank you.
start. No, thank you. All right. So you could say no, but what are some other ways that you can avoid that situation?
Oh, I don't feel good.
Okay? You can talk about how you're feeling because
No, I don't feel good, like my stomach, like I'm sick.
right.
so we're at the family still, and not the, or just any
Either one.
situation? Because family, maybe at the
Well-
family, there'd be a family member there that you go to. Just, okay, can I talk to you for a minute,
Okay.
Uncle Duncan?
Okay.
And tell him what I'm feeling, and I really don't, because my cousin,
Yeah.
AJ. But, no, I'm saying,
Yeah,
so you're in
yeah.
a family, you have some
Heartfelt.
might be somebody close there that you can
That's
talk to.
right.
That's all.
That's a really good point to make, you guys. Sometimes in your families, some people may do things and other people may not. So you could look elsewhere. You could to avoid that situation, to another family member, for example. You know what? Because you brought up a really good point, and so did you, Hector, that you guys are in charge of your own bodies, right? Nobody can tell you what to do or what kinds of things that you should be doing to your body. You get to decide that. It's your choice to do what you want. So that is another thing. Like Hector said, you could say, I'm not feeling well. I don't want to make myself more sick. So that's something, you can use that actually anywhere. You could probably use that with family, you could use that with a party, it sounds like. What do you guys think about that? What else? What are some other ways that you can avoid these kinds of situations where you feel pressure, where somebody is pressuring you?
Maybe not go.
Maybe not go. Maybe you've got other things that you can do or other people that you can be with. Okay, so those are really great ideas on how to avoid some risky situations where there's might be alcohol and there's going to be pressure, direct pressure, somebody making you try to do it. So we're going to practice that. If it's okay with you guys, I want to do another role play. So I need a couple of volunteers to practice doing that direct pressure. Okay, Esther?
He's like,
This is a good one. I know this is good for you.
Okay, come on up. Thanks very much. Okay, who else wants to role play with Esther?
I guess I'll go again.
Okay. Great. All right, girls, come on up and then let me decide with you guys. So who's going to be doing the direct pressure and who's going to be coming up with ways to avoid the pressure? Do you want to pressure her or do you want to pressure?
Whatever she's.
What would you like to do? Okay.
pressure.
She's going to pressure you, and you're going to come up with things to say to avoid. Okay, and everybody be thinking about what kinds of things you might say too. All right, got it? So we're doing direct pressure.
Anything?
Yeah, well, whatever it is that you want to, drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be cigarettes, it could be marijuana, whatever it is that you think would work in that situation for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead and get started and kind of go that way.
Hi Esther, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Yeah, there's some beer I saw over there. Come on.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
come
what
on.
kind? No, you know what? No, I don't like that one. So I don't like
No,
those
well, we
ones.
can go get other ones. There's a store down the street. You can get what you want.
No, my mom gets mad at me if I go out. I have to ask her.
She's not here though.
No, but she's gonna know it's a family. She's gonna snitch. She always tell. She always tell my mom.
We'll go away from her.
No, she always around me. No, it's okay. Thanks, I'm fine.
I can get rid of her. I can
No, I'm
tell her
cool.
to go
I don't
somewhere
wanna try.
else.
No, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Come
I got a
on.
test tomorrow with this lady
It'll
called
help
Mary
you.
Lou.
It'll relax you.
No, I'm stressing about this
Yeah, it'll
test.
help you relax.
No, I don't
It'll
need that.
take your mind.
I need to get ready for the test that is gonna be next month. And no, thanks. I have to be clean, clear, and with everything.
It'll
No,
relax
thanks.
you though.
No, I don't need that to relax.
Okay.
Great, all right. Thanks a lot. Boy, you came up with a lot of strong things to say. We'll get to that in a minute. How did,
Made it harder for me to try to
You're doing a good job of it.
I was just going to ask you, so Julia, how did that feel to keep going at her? What was that like for you?
It was hard.
It was hard.
It was
What was hard
hard.
about it?
She was sticking to her guns and she didn't want to try it. She knew what she wanted.
I see.
She was letting me know that she had important things to do. And even though I was telling her, oh, it was going to relax you, she
Yeah.
was like, no, I want to be clear and
Yeah.
focused. So it made it a little harder.
Yeah, you were really having a hard time coming up with things to say.
Yeah, it was.
Kept trying to find a different way to get her to do it because she was being so strong.
Yeah.
You really knew your own mind about this.
Yeah.
You came up with some great responses. Something about I had to do a test and I need to be clear-headed.
Then a snitch.
Oh yeah. So you were thinking about people. You were thinking about people around you. And so, and that could really happen, you guys, right? You guys have been to parties, it could be different people at the party who you might worry about, who might tell your mom, right? Some of you guys, you know each other outside, and your moms and your dads may know each other. So that was a pretty good thing to think about right on the spot. How did that feel for you, that she was pressuring you?
She was pressuring me, and I don't know what to think. I was thinking something else, but she was like, come on, no. Leave me alone. I was about to stop. I don't want to do it.
You were just digging in and
Yeah.
getting, you had
So
more
what's the best-
resolve.
Yeah.
The more she tried, the more you didn't want to.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever feel that way when somebody really wants to make you do something, and then what do you guys feel when somebody really wants to make you do something? What does that feel like?
Like you're being told what to do. Like
It
you
gets you
don't,
mad.
kind of don't
It
have
makes
your
you
own
mad
mind.
sometimes, and you don't. It's right. You don't have your own mind, so it's like they're trying to make up your mind for you. So people don't like being told what to do all the time. And that's what direct pressure feels like a lot of times, it sounds like, from what you guys are saying. So what other things could Esther have said in that situation to Julie? What do you guys think? What are some other things? What are some other ways that she could have avoided that? Yeah.
Oh, I think she could have been like, oh, you know, I really don't feel good. And then with the alcohol, it's going to make me feel really sick.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you could bring up again how it's going to bother your body, how it's going to affect your health.
Affect your
You might be able to say, if you say something like, I know that alcohol could make me sick, or
Right.
because it kind of you don't want to feel sick. And knowing Julie, you should say, oh no, it wouldn't. But I mean, no, but I mean again, that's
Right.
that's what my experience is, and I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you like about the role play, the way it worked out? What did you guys think about it?
Well, I like that the fact that it was actually making her
work.
more determined to say no different ways, but
Mhm,
she
mhm.
seemed to be getting more like, I'm really gonna find a way to say no now. Like
Yeah.
it was making her want to do it. I would have, or maybe she could have even gone to the snitch.
Yeah,
Said, you know, I'm gonna go talk to her and make sure she doesn't think I'm drinking.
that's right. Okay, so that was one of the things that I noticed, and you guys noticed too, is how it made her want to come up with even more reasons, right? So now we're going to talk about something a little bit different, because there are other kinds of pressure that we could maybe come across. So what do you guys think indirect pressure means?
Like leaving the can in front of you and just walking away.
Tell me about the situation like that. What does that look like to you?
Say you're hanging out with friends, nobody's around, and you're like, oh, we're gonna drink beer. I don't want to drink beer. Okay, that's all right. Just leave the can right in front of them and just kind of continue on drinking.
Okay.
Kind of leaving it there for him to see if he kind of goes for it.
Okay. So nobody's actually telling you what to do in indirect pressure. You're kind of feeling that by just what you see, or maybe things that you tell yourself. It might be something that you're telling yourself, right? What are some examples? What are some more examples of indirect pressure? Because we've practiced saying no to direct. That's kind of like the more normal one, the kind of we might see. What are some examples of indirect that you guys can think of?
I was thinking of like music videos,
Oh,
or not even that, just songs,
okay.
because it talks a lot about that, like drinking and smoking,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not telling you, they're not telling you to do it. It's like they're just telling you how it feels, or like how like hanging out with certain people, they'll do it and stuff.
Mhm.
So it's not like indirect. It's more like just, it's not, they're not telling you like, oh, do it. It's
Yeah.
just more like it's there.
Yeah,
And then you see these videos, how they're doing it, how they're acting, how it's like a big party.
yeah,
And then it's just like, oh, cool. Like, you know, maybe if I smoke weed and I'd be like, you know, I drink, it'll be like that.
Right. Wow, that's a really good example, because it's so obvious that this music, and even the music videos like you're saying, they make it seem like it's really cool, like it's really fun, and it makes it seem like everybody's doing it. Remember, we talked about how it's not everybody who's doing it, but the videos make you feel that way, and the songs make you feel that way. It makes it feel like it's normal. And then what happens, and that's a really good example, because nobody's saying anything directly to you, but in your head, you're thinking, well, maybe that's fun. Maybe I should try that. So what are some, are there any other examples that you guys can think of?
I think I'm too old, but I grew up with cigarette commercials.
Okay.
Where everybody looked so like having
Cool.
fun and
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
they were dressed like, they don't have those anymore, do they? They don't do cigarette
No,
commercials.
you can't do that anymore, right?
Do they do alcohol?
So
I don't watch TV anymore, so I honestly don't know.
what do you guys think? Do they do alcohol ads
Super
on
Bowl,
TV?
yeah.
When do you guys see alcohol
Football,
commercials?
sports.
Sports.
Interesting one.
Right, you bet they do.
Those big old
Okay.
micheladas.
Exactly, yes.
Corona at the beach.
Yeah, yes, they do.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
when you drink a Corona at
No.
work, that's your beach. You're
Yeah,
at
you're at
the
the
beach.
beach.
You could create your
You
own
go
beach
to the
wherever
store
you're
and you
at.
go see those big cups, the michelada
right.
with spicy stuff.
Right,
around.
that's
I'm like,
right, okay.
The Dos Equis guy.
That's right. That's what you were saying, right? So you guys, you're absolutely right. There are lots of examples of that. We're going to talk a little bit more about ads and things that ads try to make you think, or the way they make you think, and the things they do to people next time. So, but that's still a really good example of indirect pressure. I'm so glad you thought of that. I don't know if anybody's thought of that before, so that's really great. Because we are not being told directly, but we're getting the message, right? And the message is, maybe I should do this too. Seems like it's a really fun thing to do. Okay, so if we get that message, and you get it in lots of different ways from what you guys are saying, what are some ways that we can avoid that message? What is an example of what you guys might either say to yourself, right? Because you're not going to say it to anybody. What would you tell yourself, or what would you do in a situation like that where you feel indirect pressure?
Maybe remove yourself from the situation.
Okay.
That makes you feel that way.
So tell me a little bit more about that. What would that look like for you?
Maybe let's say like if you're at a party and everyone's drinking and you feel like, you know, you're being pressured, like say like an indirect pressure because everyone's drinking and you see everyone's having fun while they're drinking.
Yep.
And you're the only one that's not drinking.
Yeah.
So maybe you'd call your mom maybe to come pick you up and go home, or where you feel more comfortable.
Okay. So that could be really powerful. I mean, and it could work for lots of people. You can call your mom and have somebody come get you, and or you can say, my mom is calling me. It sounds like some people might try that one, as I have to go. So you can blame your mom.
Right, make an excuse.
Make an excuse. Yeah, okay, that's definitely one way to get out of an indirect pressure situation. What's another way? What's another way that you guys can think of?
Maybe thinking about the consequences, you know. So if I do this, then this might happen. Negative, get in trouble with my parents, things like that.
Okay. Yeah, so you know what? For some people, parents are really important because you guys still have like a really close relationship. You're still at home and stuff. So getting into trouble could really lead to problems for you. That could work by telling yourself, well, it seems like on the one hand it could be fun, but on the other hand, I could really get into trouble, right? What else? What other ways could you guys get out of situations by either thinking something differently or doing something differently when it's indirect? Just some other ideas. You guys have come up with some great ideas already. You can tell yourself there might be consequences. You could leave. What else could you do in a situation? Like, for example, we had the situation, that was a good one, where somebody just there's just some alcohol there for you if you wanted to. Nobody's telling you to drink it, but it's there. What might you do if you didn't want to?
If you're thirsty, just get another kind of cup with no alcohol.
Oh, that's a great idea too. Maybe you could just drink something else, right? Or have something else already in hand. That might work
Get
for
full
people.
with water and then.
Drink water, bring water along to a party and say, I'm good. All right, these are great ideas. So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to role play in an indirect situation. So I'm going to give you guys, it's kind of hard to think about like how to actually do that in a group, but I'm going to give you guys, if it's okay, I'm going to give you a scene or a situation that you can work on. How about this? And I'll need a few people for this role play. It's not just going to be 2 people, okay? So I'll need maybe a little group. And here's the situation. We're going to have a group of friends, and they've invited you to go to somebody's house, okay? Then you get there, so you're, this group, you're already there, and you guys were actually going to go to the movies. And now you're at somebody's house, and there's some drinking going on. Nobody's telling you to drink, remember? Okay, it's not direct. You were going to go to the movies with your friends, and now they're hanging out with some other people, and there's drinking going on. So we want to think about what kinds of things we could do in that situation. So how about if I have a couple of people to be the friends, and then one person to be the person who's going to be trying to think of something different to say or do. Let's do that. Volunteers?
All right.
Okay. How about from this side of the room?
Okay, I guess I'll go.
Okay. And then I need another. Okay, good. I've got 3 people. That's great. Come on up. All right. Come on up to the front. And
Thanks.
Duncan, do you want to come on up too? Yeah, you're good. Okay.
I thought you needed 3.
He was pushing me. Come here.
How many need? How many need?
I think another one's fine. You
Okay,
can.
okay.
We can have a few people. Okay, so you guys and
I'll be the one that
that avoids.
yeah, that avoids.
Okay, so come on over to this
They
side
have
of the. Come
fun.
on
I'm
over.
always pressuring people.
I
I
wonder why.
You're such a bad influence.
So Esther, you come on over this way, and you're with this group, and so you were going to go to the movies with them.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
That was your plan. The plan changed a little bit, and now you guys are kind of deciding to do something a little bit different.
Okay.
And there's maybe some alcohol now, but Victor thought you guys were going to the movies. So you're not going to pressure him, right?
No.
There's not indirect. There's not direct. Okay? Sounds good. Let's see what kinds of things you might think or do about this. So just kind of in your, in your way, you're going to the movies with them. What could you do differently? All right.
Wait, so I'm going to move something, right?
You were going,
I
yeah.
was.
Plan changed, yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you were going to go. Yeah,
Alright,
yeah, yeah.
Salute, salute. Here,
So,
get a
guys?
drink. Hey,
How's it going?
good. Come on down. You want a beer? We're having a beer. We're just having a beer.
So no direct pressure.
Oh, sorry.
Direct pressure.
What
What are you guys doing?
I was just having a few beers, a few
Cool.
drinks.
What kind?
Yeah.
Really good, huh? This margarita.
Yeah, she had a margarita. I got a Corona because I want to be at the beach. You know?
yeah.
You want some cigarettes?
Oh, sure.
Hey,
Cigarette?
I thought we were gonna go to the movies.
Yeah, we decided to hang out,
No.
drink some
We
beers,
just like to get high over here.
smoke.
Yeah, we just have a, we can go to the movies anytime. We got a chance.
But I was
Have a little
really,
drink.
I wanted to go to the
Really
movies.
good.
The Avengers, guys.
You want
Come
another
on.
one?
I can get it on down the street for $5.
Let's go. We'll go to the movies.
But I wanted to sit
We'll go to the movies
down and get
sometime.
popcorn.
We can sit down here. I can grab a few chairs for you.
Get some
Let me
food.
go look.
There you go.
You can relax.
But I have my shirt from the Avengers. I was ready to go watch
It's
it.
free. You don't gotta pay for that seat though. We're just drinking here.
Yeah, we're gonna
We'll go to the movies sometime. We'll go to the
Yeah.
movies.
We'll go to the movies later.
Yeah, you want more?
I
Sure.
really want to
Yeah. You
go.
want some more? Okay. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, guys. Well, actually,
Next, we're gonna have some.
I'm gonna jam. I have a test tomorrow. See ya.
Great. All right.
Where's Hunter?
He's gone.
If you want the free chair, you have to pay $20.
$20. Which one do you go to?
Yeah, so thank you guys.
Popcorn.
Phew. That was, no. You're, okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll just keep rolling. So that was really good. That was hard. You guys were having a lot of fun over there, but Hector, you were steady in your decision to go to the movie, and I liked how you kind of put out your phone, like something's, maybe the ticket.
I done it when I just take out my phone. I'm like, all right.
You already
see ya.
bought your ticket or something? Okay. All right, so you guys, what was that like? What was it like? Hector wasn't gonna buy that, You guys were doing what you wanted to do, and he was doing what he wanted to do.
I really wanted to see that Avengers movie.
Yeah.
It seemed, that's, I don't know how it'd be in real life. It just seemed okay. It was okay. We were fine.
Yeah.
And he was fine.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all.
that's interesting. So it seemed okay because nobody was offended that he wasn't going to be doing something, and maybe it's
Right.
like that with your friends. Maybe sometimes friends want to do something and you don't, and they're okay with it. Might be the same thing for you guys. Hector, how about for you? What did that feel like? The plan sort of changed, and then you.
Well, I mean, it felt kind of, for me, for me, it felt like kind of like, all right, kind of like last minute, you just change the plans on me.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
So now I really kind of don't want to do anything at all.
Okay.
And since I didn't want to drink, I just kind of said, okay, you know what, well, I have other things to do tomorrow, so I'll just leave.
Okay, so you decided to leave in that situation. What was going through your head?
If I stay and I get a drink and I'm going to have a second one and a third one and I'm going to stay, well, I mean, as an adult, but as a
Right,
kid,
right.
it's kind of, you don't want to be there, you're uncomfortable,
Right.
everything's changed. And so you're at just leave, come up with an excuse, leave, check your phone, or just, I mean, they didn't pressure me to do it.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
I think if I would have left, they would have been okay with it too. Because they were having a good time by themselves.
Mhm.
And I mean, I was there. And I was telling them how I felt, but they were like, really, you know what, we're gonna drink today. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to tell them, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna drink with you guys.
Mhm.
Instead, I was just like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna leave you guys already.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. So a lot was going on in your head. You were really trying to decide, first of all, what happened. You felt kind of like your friends disappointed you because you had a plan and the plan changed. And then you were thinking, well, they're having a good time. I really don't want to do that. So I got to think of something else to do. And you thought maybe I should leave. That might be the best thing to do in this situation. So it's hard to know what to do sometimes with indirect because we're having to tell ourselves something. We're having to talk to ourselves. Here's another situation. You guys don't have to role play this one. I'm going to just give it to you, and then you tell me if it's okay. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this, okay? So let's say that we're just going to pretend. Let's say you're at home alone, or somebody's at home alone, and then they remember that their brother's stash of marijuana, he's in college, but he left some up in his room, and they know about where it is. Nobody's home. By yourself. What might you tell yourself? Or what might you do? Because nobody's pressuring you, you just know it's there. Or maybe a little alcohol in the cabinet or something in the drawer. What could you say or do if you didn't want to be in that situation?
You know, that your mom maybe might come home at any time. You don't know
Oh.
what her schedule's like. She might walk in and catch you, and that's it. In trouble.
So you're really concerned about what could happen, like the consequences of getting caught by your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. You could tell yourself that your mom or another adult might be coming around and you just can't determine when that's going to happen. What else? What else could you say to yourself? What else could you do in that situation if you wanted to avoid the situation?
I want to go play Xbox.
All right.
Last longer.
All right. You know what? That's a really good idea. You could come up with something else to do. Maybe you can play a game. Maybe you can go out. What else?
Watch a movie.
Yeah, maybe you could decide, I'm not going to go upstairs into my brother's room. I'm going to stay down here and watch a movie.
Call a friend.
There you go. You guys come up with lots of really good ideas on how to avoid situations where there's direct pressure and indirect pressure for like alcohol and drugs. But that's not the only kind of pressure. What are some other pressures that you guys feel that have nothing to do with alcohol or drugs? What are some other pressures that you guys have come across?
Status.
What do you mean by that?
Sometimes people think that, especially when you're younger, they think people who drink or smoke are cooler,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to be cool too. So you want to try and get yourself up there too.
I see. Yeah, so there could be pressure for your age group to fit in and to be cool, to be part of the crowd. What other kinds of pressure?
Sexual.
Pressure maybe to have
Yeah.
sex. Yep, there's lots of pressures. What kinds of things do you guys think you could do in a situation like that? Like maybe in the situation of wanting to fit in or be cool. What are some things that you could do to handle? How would you handle that situation?
Try and start something else that's not as destructive.
That's really using your imagination. Is like maybe doing, starting another type of group that you could feel better about fitting into. Okay, that could work too. And what about pressure to have sex? What are some things that kids can do to handle that situation?
I think just talk to an adult, like a responsible adult.
Okay. So maybe bring it to the attention of an adult that you really trust and you feel good talking to. You were gonna say?
I was just thinking about like the consequences that it can have. You know, down the line you can, get pregnant and then think of those consequences, how it's gonna stop you. Maybe you have to drop out of school because you got to get a job, and now your whole life has changed over one decision.
Right. That's a really good point that you bring up, is always to be thinking about what could happen if things went wrong, if it didn't go well. And that's kind of like thinking about that path again, right? When we were talking about alcohol and drugs, you can kind of use that path for lots of things. Like things can go wrong and you don't start out wanting that. All right, those are really good suggestions. So thanks for sharing those. All right, thanks very much.